There it is. I am resident of Collinwood, coming to you live straight from hell. Joining me on this merry journey through the Cult of Thorn is my buddy Mark Gillman at / Barnabas. How are you, man?
Good, good. Very, very glad to be here talking this. I was really excited when you told me what we were going to be talking about.
I love the Halloween shirt too. Very
Oh,
nice.
thank you. Thank you.
Very nice. So I gotta ask you, when we first actually now to credit Halloween 5, we meet the Man in Black.
Mhm.
Now I don't know if I've ever asked you this. I'm pretty sure I have. Who did you think that was when you first saw that?
Honestly, I had a hard time pinpointing who it was. I thought that it was I was thinking that it was someone from hell. If
Right.
not Satan himself, then one of his high-ranking people. And I love the mystery box of the Man in Black. That's my favorite thing about Halloween 5.
Yeah, it brings a whole new set of creepy to the franchise at this
That's
point. I mean, Michael, but I'll say this: that creepiness didn't take away from Michael's. It
no.
just like because Michael was literally on a revenge trip that was like, I'm like, he's gonna kill the whole town.
Hmm. And
Like,
they and each other so well. It's like you've got a creep factor on one end with Michael, and then the Man in Black, and you know that they're going to come together, and it's going to explode into something.
right? That's sort of the thing. I was sort of wondering
Hmm.
when I first watched this, like, well, is this the devil that coming for Michael's wayward soul? Because if it is, holy shit.
Hmm.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was
Right.
Dr. Wynn, or so we're led to
Hmm.
believe. But so Halloween 6 is when we're first well, 5 we see the mark of thorn on his wrist. So I got to ask you this next. Even though we don't see it in 5, because I went back and the one movie I wanted to watch was 4, and I rewatched that before we did this podcast. I watched it earlier today, and I noticed something. They never show Michael's right wrist in the movie at all. And I don't think it's done deliberately in that movie. But I'm sort of glad it is done because it leaves room open to sort of, you could say, well, the Mark of Thorn could have been there.
Hmm.
You don't see it. Now, even when Jamie touches his hand, his wrist isn't revealed. So,
Right. It's
what
kind
do
of
you,
shadow.
right? What do you think?
Um, I don't know. It's um, you mean what do I think about Michael's wrist not being shown?
Right, right, right.
Hmm. I think it worked well, and I think that and I know that Part 5 was written kind of. They had a time crunch with the strike and
Right.
everything going on, but I think that was a good observation that his wrist was never shown, and it was good to. I thought it was a cool twist to add that in there that there was something very, very sinister going on because we had never heard this before with, what was this symbol on Michael's wrist?
What do you think that? Oh, sorry. When Halloween 6, that's when we first meet this sort of group, this cult group. But there isn't as many as there seems to be. Their numbers seem to have dwindled a bit. The way they sort of play this off, they play this off all, like, oh, there's a bunch of them. There's like more of them. But when you actually see, like, in the hospital, like the doctors, it's like, well, wait a second, where's all these other members? Do you think by this time they're just running, like, to get away from Michael? They're just trying to survive at this point, or no?
It could be. Now, how many years was between Halloween 5 and 6? Like, was it about 5 or 6 years supposed to
So,
be?
so 89, right, was Halloween 5, 90, 1990, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 6 years.
Okay. I didn't know
So,
if that was the timeline they gave it in the movie, too. So,
yeah.
um, It's possible. I think that, once because they had, it seems like they had Michael for a while. So it's very possible that Michael could have killed a lot of them in that time.
That's sort of the thing. Somebody, I think it was you. You had asked me, do I think that they were controlling Michael?
Mm-hmm.
And here's my thing of that: not necessarily controlling him. I think they had him,
Mm-hmm.
but they could not contain him. And once they realized this, shit, we got to go with Plan B, whatever that is. So I don't. That's the thing with Six. Six is a great, fun watching movie. It's intense as hell and dark.
Yeah, it is.
But there's a lot of in between that's sort of left in the dark with the Cult of Thorn, especially. Like, okay, here's a big one for you. When exactly did Wynn form this cult?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that would be one. So when do you think he formed it?
I think it was formed long before him because Michael's babysitter, was involved in it.
Right.
And so I think that it was long before him. And I'll ask you something that I'd thought about before. Do you think, and I know you've seen Six more than I have, do you think that Dr. Wynn was the Man in Black in Halloween 5, or do you think that something happened and maybe Wynn took his place?
That's a great question. I think there's a lot of variables when it comes to this cult.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, I'm not going to chicken shit my answer by that. But
no, you're fine.
So I want to tackle the babysitter thing first.
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Blankenship, I love the character.
Yeah, Mrs. Blankenship, yeah.
Creepy as hell.
Yes.
I don't buy the fact that I do believe she was Michael's neighbor. That I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't buy that she was babysitting him.
No.
I think that's something she just says to sort of, it's like, well, because if you go on John's, well, Judith was supposed to be babysitting him. Because remember, she goes, Michael's around here someplace.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to give credit to Judith, Michael's original victim. Now, as far as the Man in Black, no, I don't think Wynn is the original Man in Black. I think the Man in Black is sort of Halloween's version of Dread Pirate Roberts, just more evil though. Although Dread Pirate Roberts wasn't really that evil if you watch Princess Bride, but where
Prince, by the way,
right, I do too. Great movie. Carrie Ellis, God. I think that's the thing. It's passed down now. I know you've watched the producer's version, and so have I.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not sure if it's passed down that exact way they showed there, or if it's passed down another way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm again, because to be fair to the theatrical version, if we're going on, because that's the version I go off of. Mm-hmm. I like the producer's version; it's good, but I prefer the theatrical cut.
I didn't until recently. I'm on board with you. I prefer the theatrical as well.
I mean, I will give the producers this. Theirs didn't take away from anything psychological at all. In fact, it adds some. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just too much. You're trying to include the druids, like these it's like people might. I don't know what they're going to do with the end of this trilogy, but I think in a way, Six was almost it felt like Six was trying to tie in Silver Shamrock a bit. I don't think it, again, and you and I love that movie, but in the same sense, I prefer that movie being its own thing. That's sort of where I'm at with it. It's like, I've said this a million times. They show you that Michael Myers is a fictional character in the movie. So I love it for that. It's telling you, hey, right away, hey, this movie, this ain't this movie.
Right.
they're giving you that message where, and with the Man in Black, I don't know. Again, no. Do I think Wynn was the original? No. So, what do you think?
I don't think he was. I don't think he was the original either. I think this was something um, that was probably around for centuries and just passed down. And um, I loved how, um, honestly, how brutal they were. And it made it more frightening because it's like they groom who they want to be their next assassin from childhood.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're using children, and that's what I was thinking. Mrs. Blankenship, I agree with you. I don't think she was babysitting Michael at all. I think she was grooming him to be the assassin for the Cult of Thorn. And I just I've said it before in other videos we watched, that to me cults are the most terrifying thing, but they're fascinating to read about. And I think that, the Cult of Thorn is one of the best ones that I've ever seen in film. I love the Cult of Thorn.
I think too with Mrs. Blankenship, if she saw Michael go across the street and knowing that he committed the murder, maybe she thought that they were being successful. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think Michael sort of decided for himself, mm-hmm. before anybody whispered anything into his ear, mm-hmm. that kid is messed up bad.
Yeah, because and little Mikey Myers heard the voices too.
He heard voices. He heard voices. And the Cult of Thorn wishes he never did.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
That's my thing too. In John Carpenter's Halloween, we do see Dr. Wynn and Dr. Loomis interact. Now it's a different actor, but I'll give you where I think this really started subconsciously. Mm-hmm. At least, I don't think Wynn's a cult member in John's Halloween. But I do think by the time Halloween 4 rolls around, I do think the first real Man in Black is Dr. Hoffman from Halloween 4. There's something shady about the dude I just don't like.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that because he knocks Loomis. There's just a lot of things. Like, he's just... I don't know. There's just... He reeks of scumbag to me.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They have kind of an antagonistic relationship, and it doesn't really say why. And that could be the motivation behind it. Is he's been trying to help Michael, which is not what the Cult of Thorn wants. They don't want Michael, rehabilitated and deprogrammed or whatever. And that could very well be a reason why there's so much tension between them and hatred towards him.
Well, here's the thing too with Loomis, and this is what I've always found suspicious. Even if you don't watch the televised version where they have all that extra footage, but I'll include that here in a second. I want to focus on like the theatrical of the original. Loomis says he told everybody and no one listened, which I believe. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to jump real quick to the television version and what we know, that he had a meeting with these doctors and they just totally blew him off. Here's a guy, he's telling you, hey, I spent 4 hours a day with this kid. His words weren't even used in the court of law. It's like, well, wait a second. You hired this guy in this hospital. He was assigned Michael as a patient, and yet his words aren't even used. It doesn't give a why. And it's you sort of wonder, well, is one of these doctors a member of the cult, or they both are? Again, I know we can't technically use the televised version, but it sort of suggests that the Cult of Thorn could have been around from the beginning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I agree. Absolutely.
Do you think that when do you think when knew Myers wasn't sort of following along to what they had planned? Do you think it was by 5?
Um, for me, what I could tell was, I think when they got, I guess near the end of part 6, when they had Michael and Kara was kidnapped, I think at that point, Wynn knew that something was going on, because remember that one woman that was in there, she said, he's coming,
Yeah.
and he's very angry.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, they couldn't have predicted that, or they would have taken precautions, because everybody seemed to have their guard down. And Michael just went absolutely unleashed, like he went into full Hulk mode on these people.
Right. I think the biggest thing is too, Michael is the one person he's going to be the only evil in this world
Mm-hmm.
to do what he does. And I think them not just, having Jamie's baby, but recruiting Danny Strode as well, trying to recruit Danny to do the same shit. And they were. I mean, you had Wynn in his house, like, kill for me, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to coax him too.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how they do that voice in the house. I don't know if that was Mitchell Ryan doing the voice. If it was, thank God, because he did it perfectly.
God bless Ryan. He's
Right,
wonderful in this movie.
right. I love it. His performance steals this movie for me. It's just beautiful to watch. I can't get enough of him when I go back and watch it. You're right. I have watched Halloween 6 up and down, and really, well, Mitchell Ryan. I mean, God, Dark Shadows, right?
Yeah. He plays that dual nature so well, and we got to see it so great in Burke Devlin, where he could be, a super friendly guy and get you to let your guard down, like he was talking to little David, but in the back of his mind, he had an ultimate revenge plot against the Collins family that was a part of what he was doing, and he played that dual nature so well, and it's great to get to see that again in this movie.
Right when you first meet him, he's all friendly and talking to Sam. There isn't a sign for 15 miles.
No, no. No, no red flags at all, or any kind of, signs pointing at him. Hey, this is the bad guy.
Right. He just, I mean, he's played villains up until this point too, like because he played the general in Lethal Weapon, and Burke was sort of a, you could say anti-hero even if you like. But there were moments of gray with Burke too.
Yeah.
That's sort of my biggest trick with my categories coming up is going to be Burke Devlin, because what category do I feel I'm going to start him off in? But I do think, in the same sense, that with this is the darkest character Mitchell Ryan has played to me, and he does it to perfection.
Yes.
And I mean, he does not miss one beat. And it's funny, you got to see him smile as Burke Devlin. When he smiles is when it's like, you son of a bitch. Right?
Back and watch it after you find out, that he's evil.
Right. Right. He's sitting in that chair. He's holding Danny. Danny's sitting on his lap like he's Santa Claus, and he's just smiling. He's got this shit-eating grin, and it's like, son of a bitch, come on, man, like, really, like, come on. The heel turn of Wynn is done so well.
Yeah.
Like, and here's the thing: Michael Myers isn't in the scene. He chased them in the house, but they're really giving Dr. Wynn his own moment here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I want. Like, I don't mind the Sartain heel turn. I mind how it was done because Michael's in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Michael literally is the biggest heel in this franchise. I don't feel you should never need two heels to turn another one heel.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of my rule of thumb. If Wynn's a heel, He turns all by himself, and he does it with, well, Mitchell Ryan. He does it with perfection.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the doctors? Do you think they were funding the cult?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I think that they were what?
Oh, sorry, funding the cult.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think they were very, very much involved, and I think they had a big part in keeping Michael close by. So, and it's, it would take money and things to do that. So, absolutely.
I'll always check people who are in medicine. Who are in medicine.
Yeah. I'm just a drug dealer. So, yeah. I just give their pills. So, yeah.
Legally, God.
Exactly.
Mark's a farm tech. I'm picking on him here today.
No, you're right. There's definitely a dark side to medicine.
That's the thing too. That green stuff in those shots that they were given in Halloween 6. What do you think that was?
Beats me. I have no idea.
Dude, how dark was that though?
Very.
It just like just this movie. Like this is what I mean. The Cult of Thorn is such a dark tone, but Halloween 6, like just when you think it can't get darker, right? The tone of it. Well, here's this stuff that they've been injecting, and you could tell that the cult has been using this shit
Mm-hmm.
because it's just laying around,
Yeah.
and it's just like some say it's tranquilizer fluid, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but for it being that, it's like, is it though?
Mm-hmm.
It,
But the way that Michael goes, I mean, like if he had any green stuff, when he goes after him, it's like he drank a whole 2 liter of Surge and went after these people. I mean,
right,
I've never seen him attack like that.
right, and like it didn't really seem like it was even phasing him at all. Like he's just shaking it off, like
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think that there are more cult members out there?
I'd like to think so. I
Right.
would think that, they were probably the main ones, but I like to think that the Cult of Thorn is still out there and, maybe reforming in some way. Um, as it is with most cults, I mean, like in our lifetime, we've had a few that we've seen, and the leader has died, but there are still people that were loyal to him. Even after they were dead, they were like, they became martyrs and they didn't waver in their faith.
Yeah.
So, um, I like to think that there's still members of the Cult of Thorn out there.
It's funny how I keep telling people there are parallels between Halloween and Dark Shadows, and this is it too. You mentioned Judah Zachary. I give you all the credit, sir. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. But literally, when you look at, they call them, what's the word I'm thinking? True believers. There are members of the cults who, whether it's Judah Zachary's or Cult of Thorn, true believers, people who will believe in it until the day they die. It's as addicted as a religion,
Yeah.
if not worse.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you get like 5 true believers and you get those 5 more and they multiply with other people and get them to become true believers, it grows and grows and grows.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know how many actual people are left out there because they'll stay hidden. They'll stay, again, because here's the thing. I don't mean they'll literally hide like in the shadows. Think about it. Wynn was a doctor. He was hiding in plain sight. He was just a
Mm-hmm.
normal dude. So
Yeah.
were all these other people in the Cult of Thorn. They're normal people. So you could literally be, it's sort of like the equivalent of the shadow. You could literally be standing there
Mm-hmm.
talking to a truck driver. That guy could be a member of the cult. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's how crazy that is. And that's sort of why I'm wondering, is there those guys out there that just survive, that know of Michael's wrath, know what he did? Are they gonna go look for him? Are they scared of him? You know what I mean?
I would say all of the above to that, yes. And the thing about like typical behavior of cult members, I mean, to my very limited knowledge of it, is they look for people that are vulnerable and having some kind of need, and they can offer it to them, in a place of feeling accepted, and that's where they get them. They worm their way into where there's some kind of emotional need, and people are always needing something like that. And that's why I think the Cult of Thorn would still survive, would still live on past that point where Michael murders most of them in Halloween 6.
I think too with the Cult of Thorn,
Mm-hmm.
they I don't I think the biggest difference with their cult and Judah Zachary's cult, Judah Zachary's cult would recruit people who were weak or who were, they could take advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the Cult of Thorn, I don't necessarily see that with that. Well, the people who they want to be their murder monsters, I don't know. I don't know what the hell they look for, but
Mm-hmm.
Michael was going to make sure he's the only candidate they ever get.
Right.
But as far as members, I think they look for people with wealth and power, because look at Wynn. He had money.
Yeah.
I mean, and so do these other doctors. I think they look for people who can fund their own stuff. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny. I don't know if you've ever watched Absolute Evil, the Halloween fan film, but
No.
they sort of turned this up where the son of one of the doctors had his own Cult of Thorn, had his own sort of. It's very dark. It's.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send it to you when we're done here, but
Please do. Yeah.
it's really, really a fucking great fan film because it's done like a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't spoil it for you, but it's, like I said, it's done to perfection to me.
Mm-hmm.
How they sort of answered certain questions. And I think that's the thing too. Now, there's certain things that I feel they don't answer. Like, for example, we've talked about, okay, we don't know it. Like, look, when I say I think Hoffman was that. I don't know if he was,
Mm-hmm.
but somewhere this was established. Now, do I think he was the one who established it? No. I think there's other. I agree with something you said. The original Man in Black wasn't Wynn.
Mm-hmm.
It was somebody who probably founded the cult, really.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know who that was, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary part of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, like it or not, I think 6, and you really helped me think about this and appreciate it so much more, because 6 was one of my least favorite of the Halloween movies, and I love it so much more now because I appreciate how they brought everything, so much stuff full circle back to John Carpenter's, and connected so many points, even with minor characters in the first one. And yeah, I thought it connected it together really, really well, and I appreciated what they did with it.
Right, because what Tommy Doyle is trying to say is that the constellation, the thorn, the stars itself caused Michael to kill, causes Michael to go after his family and just kill on every Halloween. Well, again, we know very little about outer space, so who knows what power the cosmos actually has over a person, right?
Right.
Now, does that make me feel sorry for Michael? Fuck no.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna feel sorry for that guy. If I feel sorry for him, I'm gonna have to feel sorry for Leatherface, and I can't do that.
Right.
Like, I can't do it. But
Right.
I think that's the thing. I agree with you. Tommy Doyle was really a key point for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He really was. Paul Rudd's. I think this was Paul Rudd's first movie, And it's like he does a hell of a job.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Was And it was weird because I was used to seeing Ant-Man and so many other things he was done, and to see him going into such, an emo stoic person was very, different than what I've seen him. But I think he did a great job with it. I mean, he played someone that was tormented and obsessed with this for years.
I showed some. I said, I was explaining this to my son's former teacher when he came to work with my son. I said, "You do know Paul Rudd was in a Halloween movie, right?" He's like, "What?"
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I lent it to him, and he watched it. He goes, "Well, that was different. I never seen him do that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing when Paul Rudd is in the new Ghostbusters movie and he's sort of being funny, but then he turns into that dog and he's sort of dark, and it's like, yeah, I've seen worse in Halloween 6. Listen, he went full darkness in Halloween 6.
Yeah.
Like he was a. That's the thing. All the characters are very dark. Like they're very. And that's the thing too. 6 pushed the boundaries with abuse too.
Yeah.
Like there was like father domestic abuse basically going on in the Myers house with the Strodes, and it's like when you see that guy hit his daughter, you're like, oh, you son of a bitch. You're sort of wanting Danny to stick the knife in his.
Oh, I hated John Strode. Yeah, he was awful. I hate him so much.
I love Kara in this movie where she's like, put that down, Danny. Put that, and it's like, God, you're a good mother.
Yeah, yes, she is. Mm-hmm.
You could tell this woman is playing this actress is playing a woman with a conscience, and she's doing a great job.
Yes, yes.
Like that's the thing. Like 6 broke a big rule too. Like this woman's not a virgin; she has a son,
Mm-hmm.
and they let her live, and she
Mm-hmm.
gets mad sympathy,
Mm-hmm.
easily.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think of the ending of this movie?
Um, the theatrical.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Um, the theatrical. I'm still trying to figure out the ending. Um, because I was confused once, they got away when they knew Michael was murdering all those people inside, and Tommy and Kara got away, um, with Danny and, little baby Steven. And they were like, Dr. Loomis wouldn't come with them. And they said, are you coming with us? And he said, I have some unfinished business to attend to. And then you see Michael's mask laying on the floor and you hear him screaming. That left me scratching my head, wondering what was happening. And I'm still, and I'm trying not to think of the theatrical or the producer's cut.
Right.
It still has my head kind of scratching on what happened with that one.
I'm sort of wondering what the theatrical cut is
Mm-hmm.
when Loomis took off the mask. Maybe he saw Michael hadn't aged at all from when he was 21.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the madness of the Curse of Thorn, maybe he doesn't. Maybe Michael doesn't age at all.
Mm-hmm.
He goes up in numbers, but he
Mm-hmm.
never changes. He looks 21 no matter what.
Right.
And that's sort of like a scary thing. Could that cause him to scream? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm with you. I've never quite wrapped my head around full V6's ending either. I wish I could, you know what I mean? It's, again, the whole movie is just a fun watch. Once
Yeah.
ending, it's like, God, this is so dark. What's about to happen? Because you're not
Right.
sure,
Mm-hmm. And Loomis's scream at the end is great. I
Yep.
mean, you could hear that something very terrible is happening, and it just makes me frustrated because I want to know what it is.
I'm sort of wondering if he just went mad.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of, he sort of says this at the beginning that he can't do it alone.
Yeah.
He can't do it alone anymore. That, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe by the time he's left alone and he takes off Michael's mask, maybe whatever he sees just drives him mad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, I do sort of wish they would have tied 4, 5, and 6 in the resurrection. Or sorry, H2O. But I love the deduction board in H2O, but
Mm-hmm.
no.
Well, what did you think about the theatrical ending where, Wynn was sort of, I guess, the guardian of Michael, and he passed that on to Loomis?
Yeah, the producer's cut where he's the Thorn goes on to Loomis, and that's why he's screaming. That's the producer's cut explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's Wynn who's in the Myers outfit, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And really, what it's saying is Michael is now the Man in Black,
Right.
or has always been. Who knows? I don't know, but I don't love the producer's cut. I mean, I just feel it's. If you would have told me that somehow maybe because take off the mask and have that really be Michael, not be Dr. Wynn, and then have the Thorn go on.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see the black hat go on Loomis. He's now the Man in Black. He has to oversee Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that. Now, again, though, too, is this Man in Black this whole other... Because if you don't do that, what you're saying is the Man in Black really is his own other entity from the Cult of Thorn. He is Cult, but he's another entity. Well, okay, if the Man in Black's a whole nother entity, then it really wasn't Wynn in Halloween 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then who was it? It wasn't Michael. Michael's in a jail cell.
Right.
So again, the producer's cut, both endings are strange. I can't really wrap my head around the producer's cut too much because I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
The theatrical cut, it leaves me more wondering. I'd rather have a movie leave me wondering to come back to.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you something, because like I said, I know you know 6 better than me. Did the Cult of Thorn, because I can't remember, ever say like what their goal was or like what they got out of being in it?
That's the thing. Now, they don't necessarily say, but here's my interpretation of the theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to make a new Michael, but they didn't just want one. That's why they're recruiting Danny. I don't know what they get out of these people, these recruiting these super killers, but maybe they get some sort of sick pleasure. I don't know. But now again, they don't explain this unless them doing this has something to do with the Man in Black that we just don't know. Again, that's something they could work with if they ever try to follow this up. But I don't have a direct answer. So.
Oh, no, it's okay. I mean, I was just trying to figure out because I couldn't remember if like if it gave them like some kind of special power or like magic or something like that. I couldn't really remember what they got out of it other than just being obedient servants to Thorn.
That's the thing, though, too. Notice Wynn is wearing the Man in Black outfit almost when he's sitting down with Danny. That's the one thing I'll notice. So I take it that Wynn is literally the Man in Black, and it does give him some demonic power to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
So maybe they've made a pact with the devil. I take it this is basically supposed to be a devilish cult.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And them doing what they're doing gives them some sort of demonic powers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much? I'll say this: maybe what you hear out of Wynn and what the cult members get is what they call influential powers,
Mm-hmm.
to influence the people to kill for their will.
Yeah.
For the thorn, for the symbol, for the thorn symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only difference is, why did Michael's will break theirs? Because my guess is Michael had already made a deal with the devil
Mm-hmm.
without them.
Yeah.
He cut out, Michael cut out the middleman.
Right. Right.
Like,
And that's what I'm hoping, that we may find something out about that in Halloween Ends.
like most sick son of a bitches, Michael just said, fuck it. I don't need no middleman. I don't.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my god. Do you get the calls too? We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Oh yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I made this joke to my wife. I said, hey, I was playing Alien Isolation the other day, and the alien came up behind me and stabbed me in the rear, and right before I passed out, it whispered in my ear, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Maybe those people are the Cult of Thorn.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They got their... It's faker than the Zimbabwe Prince hotline when we were kids. God.
Exactly.
God. Those aren't real people. God.
Exactly.
My goodness.
But
I'm trying to think if there's something I want to ask you. Okay.
please do.
So Halloween 5, because I watched 6. You and I have watched 5 both the same amount of times.
Oh yeah.
With 5, well, with 4 and 5, is Jamie... Because Jamie sort of... In 4, we see sort of a dream sequence where she can see the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
Has Jamie at all been influenced or hypnotized by the Cult of Thorn in 4, you think? Or no?
I don't know about in 4.
Right.
I would say somewhat, because, you know, Jamie doesn't really know anything about Michael, but she's having these vivid nightmares and visions of seeing him.
Right.
So I would say somewhat, but not like we see in 5.
Here's what I'll say. With the... Notice how she says it, that when she says it's been 11 years since her parents died, it almost sounds rehearsed. And I don't mean like in a way of the actors. I mean like, it's like the characters being force-fed this sort of dialogue in a weird way. So I always take it that... that's why when they say about Laurie Strode being dead, I don't buy it. Because it doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
I just don't buy that she died. Now, let me ask you something. Did Michael Myers' parents fake their death?
Well, I know in Halloween 2, they said that they died. It said that Nurse Winnington said that they died shortly after. I guess that happened to Michael, but I'm split on the issue. I could see it going either way.
I'll give a little... For those who don't know, I'll give a little background. Michael's parents were in a car accident on one July night. Apparently it was raining, but I'm no weather expert, but I hear July is pretty nice in Chicago.
True. True.
Oh my god. I do think that they just faked their death. Because seriously, you got to know by this point your son's an evil bastard. I mean, who the hell wants to live with that? Oh, we're leaving our daughter behind? She'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. We'll leave her with Strode. She'll be good. So
he won't find her.
No, no, not at all. And stalk kids listening to boom boxes and find out that she's in the hospital.
Yeah, that won't happen. No.
No.
Oh, God. What do you think will happen in Ends?
I heard that, okay, I know there was a CinemaCon this past week, and supposedly I think they said that they had a 30-second trailer, but it's not been released to the public yet.
Yeah.
I really don't know, because I don't know. I don't think that Michael is going to die.
Right.
But I think that there's going to be, like, between Officer Frank and Laurie Strode and Allison, all three of them have more reason than anybody, and I think on equal playing fields, a reason to want to kill Michael. And I think it's going to be, I think the battle is going to be between the three of them, mostly more than them and Michael, about who wants him the most.
I've got two crazy endings for you in mind.
Okay.
To this movie, and both involve a mental hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It'll either be Laurie Strode sitting in the mental, like you'll see all the events of Ends, and Michael will be dead, or Laurie will be dead, or they'll both be, Miss Strode, and you'll see Jamie Lee Curtis sitting in the mental hospital. Everything you've seen has been one big hallucination in her mind. Where did she get the people? Every person you see in the movie is a staff member at the mental hospital. Allison, Karen, Frank, everybody. Everybody you see, even Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
Now, there's another thing, though, too. Remember what Dr. Loomis said in Halloween? He looked past the wall. He wasn't staring at the wall. He was looking past it. It makes me think if anything we've seen is real, and Michael's just still sitting at the wall, staring at the wall, seeing all this happen in his mind. Because he's a killer.
Yeah.
Again, I'd like to think that they're going to do something really psychological from a horror standpoint, because that would be old school, and that would be holy shit.
Yeah.
Like mind-bending. I don't think they will, but yeah, we'll see.
I know Jamie Lee Curtis, I do know this. She made a statement that when you see the end, she said, it's going to F you up. So it's hard to say. It's just, I hope we get one teaser really soon, and that's all I want to see.
Me too. We're both in the same boat here, because we're only going to watch one teaser. God damn it. We're not. And God damn it, to those people who are going to tag Mark or me in a theatrical trailer, go straight to hell. Go straight to hell.
We'll refer you to the Thorn of Cult.
We're sorry. The number you have dialed is not available at this time.
Right. But yeah, I really I'm very, very excited for Halloween Ends. Possibly more excited than I was, when they announced Halloween 2018. Because I was super excited, and seeing the teaser for that was great. But I think, because I love a good conclusion to a story, and I think I'm more excited about this one than I was Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018.
I really am curious to see how dark they take this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just meaning the movie, I'm meaning their twist. Because the darkest thing you can do, other than do a normal ending, is do a twist ending. And how dark does that get? Or basically how psychological does that get? Because look, the biggest twist in Halloween history is Laurie is Michael Myers' sister. Do I think that'll top this? I don't know,
Yeah.
because that revealed to me when I was a kid was like, holy that woman's got the worst luck ever.
Yeah. And I saw the Halloween movies kind of later in life and out of order, and someone had already spoiled that for me, so it didn't hit as hard when when I saw it. But I love that twist though. I think it's great.
Somebody needs to get you a shirt. Do not spoil Halloween movies for me.
Right.
And just wear it. Just like all over like all over the place to wear. Just like, do you see this shirt? Read it.
Yes.
God, oh my God. But yeah, I think whatever they're gonna do, I do think it's gonna be shocking.
Yeah.
I don't think they're not shooting straight here. And would it shock me? I don't know. I think they're going for shocking is what I'll say. At least that's my hope.
Right. And I'm hoping, because I really loved Halloween Kills. I've watched it several times. It was almost every single thing that I wanted in a Halloween film. And I think it's the best one that's been made since Halloween 6. But that's my opinion.
But
I really hope that what they make surpasses Halloween Kills for me.
here's the thing too. You notice the weirdest thing in Halloween Kills is when Karen looks up and she sees little Michael Myers. And it's like, well, why would she see that? Because she's never seen Michael as a kid. So it sort of gives credence to this could all be happening in someone's mind.
It kind of goes back to something that Officer Frank said, that he had a chance to kill Michael, but somewhere in his mind, he was thinking that was some mama's boy.
Right.
And I was thinking, Karen is, a very, very, very passionate about being a mother. And I kind of wondered if that was something that she was thinking about Michael. And I could be wrong, but just, I guess, trying to understand him and see him as a child, as some mama's boy. And just don't know though.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out.
Yes, we will. I'm trying to think. 5, 4, I have no more questions for you, sir. Is there anything you'd like to add before we go on out of here?
Let's see. I can't really think of anything right off the moment. But yeah, I just want to say it again because I think it's worth bringing up again. Mitchell Ryan was great in this film, and like, if you see this film for nothing else, especially if you're a Dark Shadows fan, you need to watch this for Mitchell Ryan because he's wonderful in this film.
Yes, most certainly. Mitchell Ryan is the man. He really is.
Yeah.
For my buddy Mark Gillman at _Marners, go follow this gentleman on Twitter, and no, do not spoil any Halloween movies for him, or you will burn.
Awesome.
But
so much for having me on.
Mark, brother, love you to pieces, man. Have a great night.
You too. Good
Bye.
night. Bye.